Hello viewers and welcome to a fresh episode of Avant Garde. On today's episode, our conversation will revolve around the innovative world of waste management and sustainability. I remain your host, Anyebo Ebere. Today we are joined by Abba Yahaya, a waste management enthusiast whose passion grew out of his ability to see something beautiful in just anything, right from a very tender age. With a passion for transforming waste into valuable resources, our guest has dedicated his career to developing cutting-edge solutions that promote a more circular economy, not just in the creative industry, but across other sectors, which you will get to know as we progress. Mr. Abba Yahaya hails from Kano State, Nigeria, born into a family of 4 and the second child. He had his primary and secondary education between the year 1990 and 2000 and proceeded to do his professional diploma in mass communication at the Bayero University, Kano State. In 2004, he gained admission to study English language in Bayero University, and this gave room to other advancements in the course of his career. He has since then served in different capacities, right from his National Youth Corps service days in Kaduna State. His love for creativity drew him into the beauty that is unseen in waste, which gave birth to the Institute for Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship in 2014 and the Creative Global Community, a platform he uses to empower the youth to be self-reliant and independent by teaching them skills both in creative space and beyond. In this interview, we will learn how Mr. Abba is helping to turn waste into value, from reducing plastic waste to creating new products from recycled material. Interesting, right? We'll dive into the exciting opportunities and challenges in this rapidly evolving field. So let's get started and find out how we can turn waste into gain. Hello, Mr. Abba. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Where do I start from? Okay, my name is Abba Yahaya, and I'm a gift to Kano State. My educational background is largely centered around Kano State, and after my service, I decided to venture into other practices.
Wow.
Yes. Prior to that time, I've always been an individual who has always seen himself as someone who is independent. So even while I was in school, I was able to acquire a few technical skills that got me jobs. And I was, even while schooling, I was working at the same time.
You needed that money. Yeah. You were pursuing the money. Okay.
But one passion I would say I've always had is the ability to create something out of nothing. That has been like a gift, I would say, because right from childhood, I would naturally just see something that means nothing to anyone else. Just like the popular saying that goes, Michelangelo saw an angel in the stone, while others were seeing a stone, able to see something different.
So you always see something different in anything or anywhere you find yourself. I'm trying to see a creative aspect of that thing.
Well, I don't try.
Okay.
I think it comes naturally.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Can you tell us about Creative Global Community? What's better Creative Global Community?
Okay, it's actually the creatives global community.
Okay.
And what gave birth to it actually is a group of core members. I happen to be one of the consultant trainers and partners with the National Youth Service Corps,
Okay.
a government agency that actually grooms and trains the youths, our leaders of tomorrow, for a whole year.
Are you speaking of recent or back then, when the idea of the Creative Global Community?
No, this is
started?
something that happens year in, year out for the ministry.
Okay.
But talking about the how it got founded,
Yeah.
how it came to light, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I personally own a training institute, by the name Institute for Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship. And this institute has been running for um, as far back as 2015.
Wow.
Yes, we've been training, we're specialized in different skill sets, as the name implies. And with the backlog of students we've trained over the years, there was a need for us to meet at a certain point in time, because one thing I never do is to lose touch with my students. I always am in communication with my students, because for me, it's not just about impacting knowledge, but also finding out how well they are using these knowledges that they have acquired. And that gave room for us to all meet. And in the process of meeting, the idea came and like, other institutes have what you call alumni, they have different sets of communities. So why don't we create ours? So, and we thought about it that, okay, if we were to create our community, it's really going to be a unique one, because we are into different skill sets. We are not known for a particular skill set. Hence the name, Institute for Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship. So we train on a whole variety of skills. So if we were now to say that we want to create a community, what would our community look like? Because it's not going to be for a specialized practice, but for different sets of skill practitioners coming together to become one. And then one of our old-time students just came up and said, how about the Creatives Global? No, sorry, the Creatives Community. And then somebody else was not like, why are you trying to limit us? This is something big, even though we're starting small.
Wild minds.
Exactly. So how about we add global to it? And that's how it became the Creatives Global Community. A place where different people with different skills, different talents, different gifts can come together, work together as a team, provide humanitarian service, provide leadership, while they also learn too from one another.
So for how many people are in this creative global community? Like, just give us an estimate of people that have come together under this creative global community.
Okay, for Abuja, I would
Okay,
say...
that means it spans through states.
Yeah, currently we're in 4 states.
Wow, that's huge. Okay.
We're in 4 states currently. Okay, so in Abuja alone, right now, we're heading to 200.
Quite a number.
We're heading to 200. And then we just set up actually in Kano State.
Okay.
And in Kano right now, we're at 20.
Okay.
And then we've been in Kaduna for like 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaduna seems to be topping the charts. We're at 300 in Kaduna. Yeah, and so, the list goes on. We're expecting to have more expansions. Like, for example, now we're in the east, Owerri.
Oh, okay.
And what took us there is our usual training. But also, what we're looking at now is anytime we go to a particular state or community for a training, since we have our own community attached to our institute, we also present our community to that specific geographical location, telling them what we are into and how we can help their community to become better.
Okay, so speaking about the Institute for Skill Acquisition, can you tell the audience like the major skills, or let me not say major, can you just some of the skills that you've been able to train people on, and how you just mentioned that you are in different states. So how do you come together to plan a program or an event, or is it like a stationed place that people go to register to learn a skill, or it comes like a monthly event or yearly event where you just go to train people?
Okay, thank you very much. It works in different ways actually, and I will explain what I mean by that. There are scenarios where we actually have a concept, we have an idea. First of all, it's not a one-man business. All right, I may be the visionary, I may be the team leader, but I also have a team that I work with of facilitators. All right, like I said, it's an institute, and you cannot run an institute as an individual person. You need to have other professionals in their skill sets. So we may come up with concepts, ideas that may turn into projects that we will now present as a proposal to a particular organization, be it government body or private. And it's actually a project or a program that is geared towards solving a particular problem in that agency, on that organization. And if they see it as something that is plausible enough, then we'll go into business with them, we'll go into partnership with them, and then we'll conduct the training either for their staff or for whoever they want us to conduct the training for. So that's on the one hand. And then on the other hand, we've had situations where, based on recommendation, based on referrals, we've had agencies, we've had individuals reach out to us and said that, oh, we heard that you guys are into XYZ trainings. Like, for example, we were just called like 2 days ago from Berlin. It's an international NGO, Borderless International, and they want to do some trainings in IDP camps. And someone recommended us, and we got into talking with them. And what started out as just us handling the recycling part of the training has now become us being in charge of the entire training itself. Because when I was engaged and I got talking with them, they discovered that they are speaking to somebody who is vast in what he does, and this is the best person to deal with. So this is another scenario. You understand? Then another scenario again could be a government agency actually calling you to partner with them. They have their annual programs or their quarterly programs that they run. And in those programs, they have a section that deals with trainings. And they look for an agency or an institute that meets that requirement, and were recommended, or they hear about us and they engage us, and we now become partners with them. Agencies like that are SMEDA, Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria. We've had partnership trainings. We are actually one of their official training partners for both Abuja here and Gombe State. So anytime they have trainings like that, we do go to engage the audience in whatever they want us to train them for. Another agency again is NCAC, that's National Council for Arts and Culture. They do have quarterly and yearly programs where we are also called upon as their partners to come and train particular audience.
So, speaking about the recycling aspect, because it's, I think I know you for the recycling aspect of this. That's one that is much more pronounced. So, speaking about the recycling aspect, can you tell us more about it?
Okay, well, we all know that the world is being affected right now by climate change. And if you look really deep into what climate change is all about, causes particularly of climate change, you see that it's largely related to waste management. And I grew up knowing how to manage waste, both from my parents and also from the community and the state as a whole. Kano State is known not just as a center of commerce, but as a center of where you have a lot of craftsmen and craftswomen. They are very vast when it comes to craft skills. All right, and that also means that they are able to manage waste, because most of these crafts you see them producing are actually from waste. They are either byproducts or some form of waste. You understand? So these are things that actually founded my background in the recycling career. And then over time, I discovered that it became something personal to me. I became like a natural environmental protective ambassador, if I will put it that way, because I would be in a cab and somebody has just finished chewing granite and he wants to throw the nylon of the granite peels or the back outside the window. And I'm just on that person's case. That's wrong. Don't do that. Or maybe he has water, he wants to litter the environment, and I know that's wrong. And then I started getting people telling me that, why should we not do this? What can this be used for? I mean, this is a waste now. So why are you telling us not to trash? So the message started with, no, there's a better way to trash waste. And then later on, in looking at how to also contribute my own quota in helping with the issue of climate change, I now went further to think about how one can actually become more creative in the recycling industry, in the waste management industry, because believe it or not, that industry is an untapped industry in Nigeria. It's an industry that has still not been fully accepted yet, because there's a stigma attached to it. When you talk about waste, it's dirty. Nobody wants to get their fingers dirty and all that. But yet, there's a whole lot of money in the recycling industry for those that are interested in wanting to make money. But there are those that are just there just to be creative and just to have fun. So you decide what part you want to function in.
Okay, so let me answer that question. So maybe you just take it off. So talking about waste, many people once you talk about waste, they just feel it's something that is not reusable again. Like once it's waste, it should be trashed, it should be disposed. It's not supposed to be anywhere around you. So can you give us an example of some of this waste that you've been able to recycle into something reusable or something usable, and then how do you get people to see the beauty in this waste that have been recycled and now to be able to, I believe it's been done for profit purpose, we sell this recycled waste. So what are these waste, and then how do you get people to come to knowledge of these and then patronize in getting them?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, looking at the waste management industry is actually very large. So you have to look at the section you want to function in and try to see how you can get your groundings in that section. Because every section of the waste management industry actually has money to give whoever is practicing that. There are those that are the ones that go out to where the trash is to gather the specific kind of waste that an organization is in need of which largely the ones that are in high demand right now is in the area of plastics.
I think I've seen people like that. All these, should I call them scavengers?
Well,
you see them
that is the name some people like to.
pick.
In the north, we call them babombola.
Okay, yes.
You understand? Now, what that simply means is they are actually people that just go to, take out the actual waste that is required by the people that they go to supply to. And like I said, the predominant waste right now that is trending is plastic. So you get these people going around because there are different levels. Those that own the companies cannot find themselves going out to go and pick these things. So they now employ labor, which is these guys. So these guys actually go out, sort out the whole plastics. After sorting out the plastics, they go, if there's a middle person that they deal with, that's a middle individual or company, they supply these plastics to them. Then there's what you call the scale. They scale each bag of plastics. It's not about the quantity, it's about the weight. That's what determines the amount. So when it is put on a scale and they check the weight, it now is converted to how much they get to earn. So you can see that fetches them money. Now, at the other level, these wastes that have been gathered, which is the plastic, are now taken, if it's a middle person, are now taken to the company that has the machinery to break down these wastes into fragments like gari. So all these plastics, they are actually machines that grind them. Why are they grinding them? So that they can be melted again to reproduce plastic again.
Okay, to produce another plastic.
Another plastic. So now there are lots of off-takers outside the country. It's just left for you to do your findings and get a good link. And of course, they will not want to do business with you except you have a good track record, a good history, or your bankers can recommend you as somebody that can be business savvy.
Okay, so let's talk about the profit in recycling. Let's talk about the profit in waste to gain. When you started this, you didn't just start it for the fun of it. Even though the inspiration or the zeal was there, but you had profit in mind. You were looking to get something at the end of the day that once I recycle this and I'm able to sell these, a certain amount of money will come to me. So let's talk about the profit in recycling. What has it been for you, like in person?
Okay, my trainings in 2015 was not centered around recycling.
Okay.
It was centered around project management. That's what I started training on. And then as I went on to improve myself in acquiring other skills and certifications, I now started taking other trainings. And I started taking other, facilitating other trainings in other different skill sets. But what brought about the interest for recycling was when I was ready to reconnect back with NYSC. I had left them because there was a need for me to go and further my education. So I was no longer training with them. So by the time I was back, the person that was there before was no longer there. It was a new person. So I met the person and I provided my documentation as I know based on the requirements. And what she said to me is, we have a lot of people training in your field in NYSC, but I like what I see. You actually are very rich in what you do, and I can see the passion in what you do. So, is there another training you can bring, something new to NYSC, because we are tired of the normal conventional trainings that we usually have? So I said, okay, let me just have a day or two to think about it. And I know that way back, which is to adjust what you said, I actually did not start the recycling journey for the purpose of making money.
Okay.
It was just a creative hobby. I just loved doing things. But I remember that most times when people come in contact with these things I do, the first thing they say is, oh, this is so cute, this is so nice. I wish I could have one of these. Please sell this thing to me now. Please sell. There's always that, please sell this thing to me now. So I now took some of those things back to her and said, um, the world as we know it is currently facing a problem under climate change. And I think that we owe it to our youths that are coming up to begin to prepare their minds, and how they can contribute their own quota, having learned the impact of climate change. So I will be taking on recycling, and that's how I started the whole recycling journey. And then even while taking the recycling trainings, it was just meant to be just trainings. But then again, the way I take my classes, I always like to engage with my participants, my students. It's not a one-sided lecture-oriented, kind of class. It's interactive, and based on our interaction, the core members, I usually engage them in coming up with projects. So they came up with a project of having a sales and exhibition fair in camp with what we had produced out of waste, because it was too good for us not to display it. And that is what now officially gave birth to sales and exhibition fair in NYSC. It was one of my classes that actually brought about that initiative. It was a group of core members that came with the idea of not just us learning and producing these things, but we can actually sell these things. These are interior decoration items that people would love to want to have in their homes or their offices. And because of that, we now also have our own market now in our own space here, where people can come buy items or place orders for things that they will want, and we give them a time frame as to when to come and get them. The same thing too, if there are exhibitions that we hear of, we reach out to them and tell them that we have products that we would like to display, and we go into some form of partnerships with them. We've had that with trade fair, the international trade fair. We've had that before with them. We also have that with the Chinese community. Sometimes they engage us to come around with our recycling, because what we've been able to do is we don't just creatively recycle these things, but we attach a little bit of culture to it.
Yeah, I can see.
And people are able to identify people are able to identify culture with it, and the people love art, people love culture.
Okay, so I can see something here on the table. What's the waste here, and how did we get to this beautiful piece of art?
Okay, thank you very much. Like, let me start with this one, for example. This now, what you call this here as skewers, they are used for stick meat.
Yes.
Right?
I
Okay.
know that.
So, people, after taking stick meat, for those that don't like their stick meat being
Cut.
cut. They like to take it from the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to go back to our
I'm one of
roots.
them.
All right, so rather than, this is our message to the world,
Okay.
rather than help to be the problem of pollution via waste, improper waste disposal, think creatively. What can you do with the waste around you? So now, this is an interior decoration craft that can be placed either in your office, in your home, wherever you choose
Yeah,
or you
it's
decide.
actually looking beautiful.
Now it's covered with an empty bottle that could
Oh.
have just been thrown away. So, but you can see the simple design that it has.
This could serve as a flower vase, right?
Yes, it could serve as a flower vase. You could put flowers inside here, and you could just even drop it on the table. You could even pick lovely stones and just put the stones around it, and it's an interior decoration item.
Yes. I didn't think of this the beautiful stone idea. It really shows the creative mind.
Okay, and then we have this. Now, this is actually waste from plastic, another set of plastic baskets that has gotten a bit damaged. So rather than throw the plastic basket away, it's made of rubber threads. So rather than throw it away, what we did was to create this thing that is round here now is actually gotten from plastic bottles.
Okay.
The plastic bottle body itself.
Yeah.
You use scissors to slice it round and make it to become a circle. Then you now wrap it first of all with pieces of fabrics. After wrapping it with pieces of fabrics, you can now begin to wrap it with the waste rope that was gotten from that old plastic.
Interesting.
So you either use that one or mat, the rubber mat, or now let me shock you. This black one is actually the one from, you know, that thread that ladies use to plait their hair.
Yes. Rubber thread.
Yes. So what we're saying is, after losing the thread, rather than just throw it
Throwing
away,
it away.
it can still be used.
Interesting. It's not looking like all the things we've called.
Yes, I know.
Wow. And this is really a very wonderful piece of art. It's
Yeah.
really, so these are like part of what you recycle or waste that you bring to be reused again. Okay, so
There are different types. You get waste from we call it organic waste. So from organic waste you can recycle and get a whole lot of beautiful things from organic waste.
Yes.
Then like I give you an example, the back of coconut. You can actually convert that to either a candle holder or a lamp stand or even an ashtray, or it has different purposes that you can use it for. Or you can even use it to floor a house.
Okay.
You break it into little pieces. You know how they do those broken tiles? You can actually use coconuts for that too. If you don't have the broken tiles, you can just get bags of coconut, pieces it, and do your cement mixture and begin to.
Never thought of that. Never thought of that. Interesting.
So that's under organic waste. Then you have metal waste, where you can actually, there are some chairs that we have around in this space here. Those chairs were created from metal waste. So you get the metal, you construct it to how the size or the shape that you want it to look like. Then you now get threads to thread it, and voila, you have a chair from metal waste. Metal, you know, they call it metal scraps. So you can create.
I think I've also seen like your tire table.
Oh yes, that's under plastic waste.
Okay.
Because tire is a type of plastic, is a type of rubber. Plastic is a type of rubber. So you can convert the tires into mirrors, right? Or center tables, or even chairs.
Chairs.
Yes.
Interesting. So many people really don't know about this. So I think we are gradually coming to an end. I would really like to talk more, but we have limited time. So Japa syndrome, of course, you know what I mean by that. People, Nigerians trying to go out there to look for greener pastures because there are no work, or they feel there's nothing left for them in the country. And there, here you have, you've been able to think outside the box to create an employment for people and not just for yourself, and you have a very large labor force. Is there anything that would actually make you to think about traveling out, maybe for greener pasture?
Well, I wouldn't really say for greener pastures,
Okay.
but if I was to travel out, like I still do, I always do, every now and then, it will be for the annual conference or a research program or a scholarship program or to go and further improve my
Meaning to
skill
say you
set.
see potentials in Nigeria that you don't see outside for you to want to go outside.
I would let you in on a little secret. We're about sealing a deal. I will not let you know the agency,
Okay.
but we're about sealing a deal with them. And you see, life for me is all about being able to. This is the secret to success: being able to identify a problem and meeting that problem. It's not about location. It's about being able to understand that wherever you are, whatever location you find yourself, there will always be a problem there that can be met. The question now, which is the $1,000,000 question, do you have the technical know-how, the skill set, and the passion to solve that problem? If you do, then the money will start coming in. It's as simple as that. But you see, there is power in consistency. I think if I was to be given that opportunity to advise or to counsel, I would say whatever you do out there, just try to be consistent. Improve yourself and try to be consistent in what you are doing. When the right time comes, I always tell my students that there's a difference between a preparing man and a prepared man. A prepared man, when opportunity comes, he just swings into action and he just keeps going like that. But a preparing man, as the word implies, preparing,
It's not
so
yet there.
he's not yet there. So chances are that opportunity may come, but he may not make best use of it because he did not really see it as a platform for growth. I said that to say this. My consistency in what I am doing, even though I personally am not really that social media frenzy kind of individual, but I'm beginning to understand the essence and the importance of taking my social media space very seriously.
Especially in this.
Yes, the pressure is getting much now.
That is to say the business is evolving.
Yes.
Where it used to be, it's not where it is. And definitely where it is going to be far better than where it is now. Thank you so much, Mr. Abba. It's really been a nice chat with you. And I believe a lot of people out there have seen the potential in recycling. We just feel that whatever we use or whatever after use, the next thing is to trash. But you've been able to open our minds to recycling. No matter how small it is, there is something that can be made out of whatever it is. And then there is an opportunity to be trained. Nigerian now, should I say, the number of unemployed are more than those that are willing to give employment. So it brings us to thinking out of the box to create something. We don't have to necessarily wait for government to provide us with employment. We can go ahead to create something and also be employers of labor ourselves, just like you've done beautifully well for yourself. I would say it was really nice chatting with you, and then probably we look forward to more interesting episodes. Maybe as your business evolve, we could come back and have more chats with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Abba.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I think that is where we'll wrap it up on today's episode of Avant Garde. It's really been an interesting chat with Mr. Abba here, who is the founder of the Creatives Global Community and also the president of NYC Trainers. Okay, I remain your host, Anebo Ebere. Until we come your way again next time, keep watching Avant Garde. Thank you and bye for now.